Hello and welcome to another edition of What Does the Giraffe Say Media with me, Kathleen Ratorne. We're an organisation that aims to connect people in conservation by holding live interviews on social media. Today, I am very happy to be joined by Amos, and he is the Principal Investigative Officer in Hwange National Park in Zimbabwe. Before I head over into the questions, I'm going to show a quick video so you can get a bit of an idea of everything that Amos is about.
When I see wildlife endangered or harmed, I blame myself.
Amos is a main passion, doing office work, gathering intelligence. Amos is very much committed.
Amos tackles a pretty high level of nasty criminals, and these guys are well connected.
Which has very dangerous people, so we have to be very, very careful.
My name is Amos, and I'm the Principal Wildlife Intelligence Officer for Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority.
He joined the organization as a junior officer around 2004, but now he is released to the ranks. So this is an inspiration to his colleagues.
Hwange National Park is 14,000 square kilometers, which is half the size of Belgium. So imagine that vast area being policed by less than 20 people with only one vehicle, which is not a 4x4.
He has got an incredible ability to infiltrate into situations where poaching is going on and get the information out.
If you can see an adorable, that's the reason why you have seen him excelling.
The informants are very important in catching and convicting poachers. Normally, informants, they are villagers. This poacher is targeting elephants for ivory. Definitely, we are going to recover this rifle before it is used for poaching.
Amos has developed this network of informants, and quite honestly, the informant system has produced far more results than the boots on the ground.
You get the intelligence about poacher movement before they enter into the park. Then you supply that intelligence to the rangers so that deployment will be done strategically.
Chase those poachers, arrest them, gather enough evidence that will make those poachers get convicted.
We have seen a massive cyanide poisoning in the Hwange National Park.
Amos tackled that head on, and gradually he put all the kingpins, all the poachers, they're all doing time in jail now.
From 2017 up to date, almost 99% conviction. So I'm seeing Amos doing good with his team.
I've been working with Amos since 2017. He's someone who believes in teamwork and very focused.
Amos is a good boss. He's very dedicated, but he's so quiet. In fact, he's a role model to taught me how to be brave, how to attack, how to convict the poacher.
I owe my great grandchildren this wildlife. They should also enjoy in their lifetime.
So Amos, it's an incredible video and it gives me goosebumps every time I watch it, and it shows just the amazing work that you're doing. We'll touch on it a little bit later on the Tusk Awards, but for now, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in conservation?
Thank you very much. I started my law enforcement duties in 1997 as a junior police graduate. From there, I worked at Interpol, Harare. That's where I got interest in wildlife because I was on wildlife desk. At Interpol desk, I discovered how poachers move wildlife products from one country to another. We were also doing follow-ups. So I say I should be on the forefront of conserving wildlife, not doing administrative duties. Fortunately, a vacancy arose at the Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority. I applied, I was invited for an interview, and I passed the interview. So that's how I started to do the conservation work. My deployment was from Harare to Hwange. It was a challenging deployment. I went to Hwange, and from there, I take the challenges head on. I started from scratch. There was no vehicle at the station, nothing at all, but that does not stop me from posting positive results. I remember my first arrest, I did it using a hired taxi. So that heralded the beginning of my conservation work. And the rest, up to date, is now history and is for everyone to see. Thank you very much.
And what kind of issues were you seeing in Hwange? What were the main kind of threats to conservation there?
Pardon, can you come again?
What were the main issues you were seeing at the park in terms of the conservation work, and how did you tackle this?
Right. The main issue I saw was one on conservation side. There was a lot of poaching going on. Also, there was some challenges with the judiciary. There was no good working relationship between parks rangers and the judiciary and other um, stakeholders. There was an issue of finger pointing, where an accused has been acquitted. They will say it's police, some will say it's judiciary. But I bring all the stakeholders together. I engage them. I engage the police to say, no, the wildlife does not belong to national parks, but they belong to the state. I engage the prosecution department. That wildlife belongs to them as well. So I ask them to teach and correct the wildlife rangers where they go wrong. And that was the beginning of a positive working relationship, such that whenever there was an error from parks rangers, the judiciary, especially the prosecution, will direct and guide us. So it was a team effort, not a national parks effort. So that's how I started to involve everyone into the system.
And it was mentioned in your video at the start that there was a big issue with cyanide poisoning. What was that for? Why were these elephants being poisoned?
Right. The elephants were being poisoned for their ivory. That was in 2013. Right. That memory of poisoning draw me back to the time when I was working for Interpol, when I was getting reports about trafficking of ivory, where over 500 kilograms, 1,000 kilograms was being recovered in other countries. So that was the most catastrophic and most painful incident in my career, because I had to meet that head on. When the poisoning took place in Hwange National Park, I was invited as the investigation officer. Attend the scene. The scene was deep in the world. Imagine going to a scene whereby you discovered about 50 elephants in a radius of about a kilometer dead. Some without ivory, some with ivory. So that was the most challenging. Where to start? That was deep in the park. No one to ask. So I challenged myself and my team to say, no, we have to account for this incident. So that's what started my community engagement. I remember I had two guys whom I was working with. We went into the community, camped into the community, engaged the community. Then the community gave us information to say, no, X came with people whom we don't know, and those people were camped at his house for quite some days. So that was the start. We went to the suspect's house. Fortunately, we managed to recover cyanide, about 5 kilograms of cyanide. So that was the start. We engaged the person, and he revealed the suppliers of the cyanide, and he revealed that those people were going to come to collect the ivory. So we asked him to phone them to say, now the ivory is now there. Can you come and collect? Indeed, they came and jointly effort with the police and informed rangers. Those people were arrested, and I remember about 10 pairs of ivory was recovered from their motor vehicles. Using their phone history and other information, we managed to follow up and arrested other villagers who were also involved in the commission of this crime. I remember, all in all, we recovered about 15 kilograms of cyanide from the community, because the community were now opening up. And I remember we arrested about 16 people from that community, and all of them were convicted. The judiciary were very supportive. I remember there is no one who was convicted for less than 10 years. The sentencing was 15 years and above. Why? Because I had engaged the judiciary. They were very supportive. The police, they were very supportive, because that was a national problem. I remember at one incident, about 7 ministers came to Hwange. They fly to the crime scene. So it was now a national disaster. So everyone was prepared to support the national cause. So that's how it started. It was not me alone, but me and my team that involved the investigation team, the operations team, which works in uniform, the police, and the judiciary. It was a collective effort, and the community, the backbone of wildlife conservation.
Yeah. I mean, you've seen under your supervision, there's been a significant reduction in poaching from over 300 elephants killed in 2013 to just 25. I mean, 25 is still too many, but it's a big reduction in 2019. A lot of what you've just said is because of the communities. How do you get the communities to support the work you're doing?
Thank you very much. The community, they want to be engaged as co-owners of wildlife. That is my approach. I approach the community, especially the village heads, the youths, the women, to convince them to say, no, wildlife does not belong to the government, but wildlife belongs to you as well. Right. I also want to thank other stakeholders who were supporting that cause behind the scene, because those community members who were giving information, they were getting some reward from other stakeholders, and that has motivated them to continue to support that. The government was not giving the rewards, but other stakeholders behind the scene, they were giving rewards. For example, if an ivory is recovered, they will reward about 250 USD, which is quite a lot for somebody in the community. So that one is not published to the community, but it is like a contract between myself and the villager concerned. So those people who give that information will continue to find out information, because information is rewarded as per reward, as per recovery. It's not just you give me information, you get something. We recover a rifle, we recover ivory, we recover a pangolin, we recover wildlife products, then you get the reward. So
And we
that's
have,
how, yes.
we have a question coming through from Winnie. Hello, Winnie. She's a regular watcher of the show. Lovely to see her. And she's asking, does the government support you, or do they sometimes turn a blind eye?
Right. I will say the government support, because they allowed us to do that. They allowed us to look for stakeholders to assist, even though resources are not enough. Resources are not sufficient. And for your information, to start this recovery of ivory from the community, we were assisted by a stakeholder with a vehicle, because there was no vehicle at the station, but that does not deter me to do the work. But after that, the government availed a vehicle to the station after discovering the good work, and the vehicle was donated to the government by a certain stakeholder.
And
So I can say the government support.
That's fantastic news. And I know because of your work, you were awarded the 2020 Tusk Award. What do these awards mean for you? And do you think that they help to give people the recognition that rangers deserve?
Thank you very much. The award is a motivator, because it's a recognition that you are doing something. Even at your home, if your son or a child excel at school, you give her or him something. It will push that individual to continue producing more results. And I want to say this to you, that after I was rewarded with the task, the authority, national parks, added more responsibility on my portfolio. I'm now responsible for Matabeleland region, which is the largest region in Zimbabwe with the largest populations. And there is a challenging station, Matopos, where there is rhinos and there is rhino poaching there. So, as an award winner, I will not want to fail in Matopos, because, to be honest with you, Hwange, we have managed to stabilize, because for 2020 and 2021, no elephant was poached in Hwange National Park. But unfortunately, in Matopos, we've already lost 2 rhinos. So it's a challenge to me. As an award winner, I should do everything possible to stop that, because I am known for positive results. I'm not known as a failure. Thank you.
And then following you getting this award, you started work with Shangano Arts to increase community awareness for wildlife through art and drama. What gave you the inspiration for this, and have you seen a change in people's attitudes?
Thank you very much. What gave me that inspiration is a seed which was planted in 2013 when we lost elephants through poisoning. I got information from the community. Then I realized during that time that some of the people who are still serving, was those who were arrested in 2013, they are still serving. Some were being taken advantage of by people from urban areas who promise attractive prices for ivory. So I say, instead of us continuing to arrest the community, we have to engage them. We have to teach them. We have to tell them that there is nothing you benefit from committing wildlife crime. So that's why I say, no, how should I do it? Let me do it through art. let me do it through drama. It's entertainment, but at the same time, teaching the community the dangers of committing wildlife crime. So that's why I think about doing that. Because if I was to say I go into the community, it is difficult to get the message passed if I am doing that alone. But if we say there is a drama club, there is a poetry club, the community will come for entertainment. But while being entertained, they get some information, they get some knowledge, and thus it is now paying dividends.
It's a fantastic idea, and I think it's a really great initiative. So well done. And you kind of touched on it a little bit just there as well, and it also feeds nicely into a question that I had. And Stacey Saddlefield, hi Stacey, she also is a regular watcher. It's basically, you understand the importance of rehabilitating poachers, and kind of feeding into this from Stacey's questions. Do you do any work with the poachers, i.e. offering them employment as an incentive not to poach? And also, do you provide them with, and to provide you with the intelligence on other people that are poaching?
Right. I start with the rehabilitation. I think about rehabilitation because first, we have got rehabilitation for wildlife, right? If a wildlife is injured, it is taken to a rehabilitation center, treated, and then brought back to the community. But for human beings, there is no such program. There is no rehabilitation. Some commit crime because of poverty. So the rehabilitation program is to make sure that the ex-poacher, the ex-convict, gets something to start his or her life when released from jail. And also, I am also using some of those ex-poachers to teach the community to say, look to me, ex, I committed this wildlife crime. I saved for 9 years. I lost such and such amount of money. I lost my cattle, but in the end, I ended up going to jail. So wildlife crime does not pay, because if it is being said by somebody who has gone through that, it is quickly understood by the community, right? So the rehabilitation, the model is to assist those poachers with small income generating capital, so that when they come out of prison, probably they can start something like carpentry, because in Zimbabwe, while in prison, they are taught life skills to survive on after they come out of prison. But there is no capital for those. But it is also a challenge to me, because like last year, I managed to assist 5 through Tusk funding, and those people, they are doing well. So imagine, as I told you, some were arrested in 2013 and they are still in jail. So just imagine the situation at their homestead. The wife is remarried, the family disintegrated. So if somebody is released like today, where will he or she start from? So that's where the rehabilitation come in.
And we have a comment coming through from Jason. Hi, Jason. And he's saying there is a major difference in poachers and if they are funded by large cartels rather than the simple bushmeat trade poachers. So how do you try and combat the ones that are getting considerable amounts of money for the poaching?
Right. Thank you very much. That's why I say on the reward issue, the one who give information about a poacher involved in ivory will get a higher reward as compared to the one who give information about bushmeat trade poachers. So that's how we differentiate. But they all get, because if we lose an imbala, it's a key animal to the ecosystem. So every animal is equally important. But we see that for wildlife, like elephant, rhino, that one involves big syndicates, and which are usually difficult to get. So we usually reward differently. That's how we do it.
And we have a comment coming through from Leslie. Hi, Leslie. And she's saying, well, first of all, thank you for helping the communities and wildlife. She said, how do you know if poachers are not working both sides? Do the incentives work? And do you include their wives and family?
That's correct. We have got a situation like that, and that cannot be ruled out. But we try to be effective on that. How effective? If a poacher is arrested, he or she should know that he or she is going to jail because the judiciary is on our side. So in the end, the person will choose to be law abiding. It will be disappointing and encouraging to the poacher if he or she knows that if I am arrested, I am taken to court, I'm going to be released. Now, but because of the good working relationship we have developed with the police and judiciary, they knew that once found in possession with ivory, you either go for 9 years. So in the end, the person will choose to be on the low side because of the conviction rate, about 99%. It's not a joke. So they knew that if you are caught, definitely you will be going to prison. So that will deter the poachers from committing crime. And also does community awareness campaigns through drama and art, through using ex-poachers, also deter would-be offenders to commit wildlife crime.
And if people are watching back home, obviously they're supporting the work that you're doing. We're all cheering you on. It's such an incredibly difficult and tough environment and a dangerous environment as well. What can people do to support the work of rangers?
Thank you very much. I would want to say all rangers, not from Zimbabwe alone, they work under extreme difficult conditions, right? Like in Hwange, if it is raining, the rangers will be in the field patrolling. If it is during summer where the temperatures are high, they will be there patrolling. So the ranger work is 24-hour because there should not be any chance to leave the area unpatrolled. So the rangers work is extremely difficult. So rangers need equipment, camping equipment, patrol equipment. They need food rations, and also what is most important and which must be considered after their hard work, after their service, rangers are not recognized very much. There is no fund to give to the rangers. So I appeal to all the listeners, those who can assist, probably to have a fund, not for Zimbabwean rangers alone, but worldwide over. Because I have realized that some rangers, soon after retirement, probably they don't last for a year. They die because they've got nothing on their name. Whilst at work, they will be in camps, but after work, you go to your village of origin. Then there will be a reality check. You don't have anything to start. So in the end, like last year, I think we lost about 5 ex-rangers, some senior officers within who had retired, but they all passed away in less than 6 months because they had nothing. So they should be recognized during their working period and also after working period.
Yep, I completely agree. And there are organizations out there that does that. There's off the top of my head, I think there's the Thin Green Line Foundation and Game Rangers Association of Africa, and they do help a lot of the rangers with support, and you can donate to those as well. So I've only got one more question left for you, Amos. Thank you so much. If you have a question that you would like to put towards him, pop it in the comments section. We've had some really nice comments and some lovely feedback as we've been talking. So thank you, everyone back home as well. And if you are enjoying it, please give it a like, comment, and a share. The more people that see it, the more awareness people we can raise for people to get aware of the work that these guys are doing in conservation. So I always try and end things on a bit of a positive note. What are your hopes for the future, and what is your favorite success story?
My hope for the future is to see the decline of wildlife crime in Zimbabwe, Africa, and the whole world. I also want the governments to involve the community, to involve the youths, to involve the women in wildlife conservation. And also I would appreciate if the governments and other stakeholders also assist the community so that they will see the benefit of wildlife. For example, there are organizations out there who drill boreholes for wild animals.
Yep.
But the community adjacent to the park, they don't have boreholes for their animals. They don't have boreholes for the drinking water. So I will appreciate if organizations out there also recognize the importance of the community so that the community could also be assisted. Don't just concentrate on wild animals, but also consider the communities adjacent to the protected. If that is done, the community will now say, this is our wildlife, and they will guard jealously.
Yep.
Because the poacher come from the community, the poacher dispose the product into the community. So if you are not involving them, they will say, no, it's their wild animal. They will not give us information. But if the community benefits, they will say, this is our wildlife. Let's stop wildlife crime. I don't know if I adequately answered.
No, I completely agree. I think that's a very valid point. We do need to look after communities if you want to protect wildlife. And then kind of following on from that, what was your favorite success story?
My favorite success story is the reduction of wildlife crime and also the recognition I was given by Tusk and also the recognition I have been given by my authority, my government, because they've expanded my area of control. It's a challenge. They believe in me that I'm not a failure, so they've asked me to oversee a problematic area. So that's my success story, to say the government recognized my efforts. So that's why they say, no, instead of you concentrating on Hwange, can you go to this other area? There is a challenge. So they believe that I can be able to stabilize and control wildlife crime in that area. So that is a success story for me, and also my family who supports me. Initially I was using, and still I'm using my personal vehicles, especially for community projects, because I don't have the vehicle for the community projects. I don't have the vehicle for those community engagement. So I'm still using my personal vehicles to move the Shangano arts, because the government will not understand that much. So at times I have to release my personal vehicle so that the Shangano arts team could move around engaging the community. So that one is my success story, and the family understand that and allow me to do that. Thank you.
I absolutely love that. And it is so true. You have absolutely been recognized, and hopefully you'll be an inspiration to others in the next generation coming forward to try and follow in your footsteps and protect wildlife. So thank you, Amos, for coming on the show. I've absolutely loved having you on. Doing some inspirational work. Please say thank you as well to all the rangers that you work with for the work they're doing. As I know you always try and point out, it's not just you, it is a teamwork. So thank you to everyone that's helping. Is there anything you would like to say before we say goodbye?
Thank you very much. I would like to say thank you to Bejani Trust and Save African Rhino, where Nicholas Duncan is the president. They have been assisting me behind the scene. And also I would want to appeal to listeners out there to also help, especially on this community project. You see, the community project is more like a personal arrangement. It's not part and parcel of my day-to-day duties. But I appeal to other stakeholders out there to also support that cause. The support and donation can come through Bejani Trust or Save the African Rhino Foundation, so that probably the project can have its own motor vehicles, its own budget. So that is my appeal to listeners out there to assist in that. Now I have been given a larger area, which is now half of Zimbabwe, to be responsible. It means there is more work to be done. And without a vehicle for community engagement, that is going to be challenging. Thank you.
Thank you, Amos. And thank you, everyone back home, for watching. Again, thank you for all your kind comments. There's lots of support and people cheering you on from all over the world, Amos. So thank you so much for coming on. And for now, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.